I just got back from ITNation Grow in Houston. What a wonderful event. It's early February 2025. I got to speak to 10 great guests at this ITNation Grow as part of Evolve, which are the peer groups, which I was a member of for, oh my goodness, close to 20 years. I was a facilitator for a while in the managed service provider industry. But I was invited to go there. Grow is a particular event in the middle of the Evolve meetings and on the Wednesday, where it talks to MSPs about looking to when they're going to make their exit, if they're going to merge, get acquired, or acquire others. It's a quarterly event, but I had 10 great conversations. It started with Cass Lawrence from Blumera. Great conversation with Cass. Brian Hoppy, Kevin Hogsmoser, who I've spoken to before, John Cooper, TJ Jackson was a great conversation with TJ. Tom Hermstead, great conversation. I first time I spoke to Tom. Hardin Byers, my goodness, I've known Hardin for 15 years. I haven't seen him. He was back. They're putting the band back together. I had a great conversation with Hardin. Nick Recker, MSP, Blue Alliance. Never spoken to Nick before. Great conversation. Shawn Brown, my friend for many, many years. He's got an exciting new consulting firm along with his MSP that keeps growing. And Dr. Larry Little. I had the great pleasure of knowing Larry for 15 years. Haven't seen him for, my goodness, 5-6 years. And we caught up and we caught everything on camera. It was a great conversation. So I want to thank all those guests. I want to thank Arlen Sorensen for inviting me, Matthew Lavender, Scott Scroggin, and all of ConnectWise. Just a wonderful event. One of the breakouts at the Grow event. Had my two very good friends, Brian O'Shaughnessy and Rob Bruce, talking to the group via Teams, via virtual, about their merger, which is a great event. Proud and glad to be part of it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. I found myself at 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. I took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People ask me, how'd you do it? What's the secret? I need to lose weight. How'd you do it? How did I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually asked them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others.
What's your favorite shot in golf?
My favorite shot in golf.
At night, when you think about golf, what's your shot? What do you think about? What club?
Like, I love the 7-iron little draw into a par 3.
You're a drawer, yeah.
Give me a 2 to 3 yard little draw off the right hand side.
So on a par 3, so it's not even your second shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask what I picture,
yeah,
man,
it's a 7-iron.
That's what
I'm
picturing.
Hit your 7-iron, what, 190?
I wish, man. I'm getting old. What are you talking about? I'm more like a 170 7-iron kind of guy.
170 and a little tight little draw. So you want the pin on the left side.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Maybe a gentle breeze.
Just a little. That'd be great.
Maybe helping.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe hurting.
Not hurting. Right. Not hurting. Now I got to go to a 6.
Because there's no water or anything in front of this par 3.
No.
There's no hazard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that keeps you going.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
What's the lowest you ever shot?
The lowest? Shot 71.
Wow.
At our home course one time.
Wow. And par's what there?
71.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any bogeys?
I don't. Yeah, there had to have been.
Right.
There had to have been because I had
just
several
canceled all the
birdies on the
birdies.
back.
I see.
But it was also in a tournament,
Whoa.
which was really cool. You know, being able to kind of close out the tournament and shoot a good round was pretty awesome.
Do you want to connect with business leaders and engage consumers who take action? The Joey Pinz podcast delivers high-impact conversations to an audience of decision makers, entrepreneurs, and professionals across multiple industries. A fast-growing audience of highly engaged listeners, both B2B and B2C. Millions of listens and views across YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Brands that sponsor us see real engagement, conversations, and brand loyalty. Whether you're looking to sell a service, promote a product, or establish thought leadership, our sponsorships offer premium ad placements, exclusive episode sponsorships, full season branding, and event partnerships. Don't just advertise, become part of the conversation. Visit us at joeypins.com/sponsor to get started, or email us at sales@joeypins.com. Joey Pinz Podcast, where thought leaders, brands connect.
So no doubles. We don't remember.
Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'll say yes, but I don't think there were, but it's
And
possible.
was it like a picture where nobody would talk to you? Like everybody would knew, but they wouldn't say anything to jinx you? It was in a tournament.
No, it was in a tournament.
Oh, that's right. So they're trying to, yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
they're
so-
calling you a sandbagger.
Oh, there was all kinds of things going on.
But
But
your partner loved it.
my partner did love
course,
it.
Of course.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think my index is down to like a 3.9 right now.
Wow. That means you'll give me now like 17, 18 strokes. This is great.
There's no way that's going to happen. No way.
There's no way. Really?
No.
I'm up high. I'm like a seven or something. Yeah. Way,
But that
way
just
too high.
means that I am very consistent. I will shoot anything from 71 to 91 consistently.
Really?
I'm kidding.
You haven't shot in the 90s in 20 years.
Oh, no. You know, I'm typically mid 70s to sometimes low 80s.
Yeah.
Last couple rounds, I mean, I think I shot 82 on Saturday. Just cold, wet, winter golf,
Yeah.
you know,
It's January, February. That's what happens.
still knocking the rust off.
Yes. So speaking of which, we're here in Houston.
Yeah.
I keep saying HTG, but ConnectWise, Evolve, and Grow. It's beginning of February 2025. What are some of your goals here, Shawn?
Well, today we're at the ITNation, Grow event.
Yeah.
And so we're looking and learning on, you know, more about M&A, right? We're definitely on the buy side of the M&A kind of thing right now. We're looking for our next partner to kind of join, you know, our organization. We've gone through some M&A things in the past.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, and so now we're ready to do another deal, and so we're looking for our next opportunity.
And what is the perfect size? What's the perfect candidate for an MSP for you?
For me, we're looking for an organization that's somewhere in the 3 to 5 million range in top line. You know, 65% at least of their revenue comes from managed services. You know, we look for a good culture mix with us, you know. For us too, it's, you know, we look for owners that want flexibility, so we can do it a number of different ways. If they want to continue to, you know, kind of partner along with us and operate with us and take a role in the organization, we'd be up for that. If they want to roll equity into, you know, our larger, you know, SnapTech IT, you know, that'd be great too. Or if they're ready just to kind of exit and be done, yeah, I think that's one of the unique things about us is we provide that level of flexibility. So whatever kind of fits right with their situation and what they're looking for, you know, I think we're accommodating.
Now, we saw today Brian O'Shaughnessy and Rob Bruce, they merged. You know them for a long time. I know them for a long time. We played golf with them. Now, talk to me about the dynamics of having a partner. Now, you had a partner for a while, and there was a little bit of a kind of separation there. What should MSPs look? What can other MSPs learn from what you went through?
Yeah, so we went through a merger very much like what they did.
Oh, that's right. Because, Dan had his own.
Well, if you remember, it was Daniel and I had kind of started Snap Technology.
Yes.
And then we met. I mean, our story is almost identical to
Isn't that
theirs.
something?
So we met, you know, Carl and Randy in
right.
HTG8 back in 2010. And in 2015 is when we started kind of pulling the organizations together, kind of finalized it all. I think it was the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, somewhere around there. That was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but the details get a little fuzzy. But yeah, that's when we kind of pulled the organizations in, and then Daniel was looking to go do something else, and so he left.
So
and,
he made his exit, and then there it goes. Yeah, but merging can be difficult.
It can be. You know what? I think one of the best things that we did when we were merging our organizations together, we also implemented EOS at the same time. So we hired a facilitator that, as we were bringing the organizations together and changing the name and doing a rebrand of that, it was a perfect opportunity to redo core values, to redo kind of core purpose and focus, build that 10-year kind of, BHAG, build the 3-year picture, build the 1-year plan. So we did all of that together using the EOS process and an implementer as we pulled our organizations together. I think that was dumb luck that we, like you don't know what you don't know whenever you're kind of going through that. But we had been dabbling in the EOS model a little bit, but this just felt like a perfect opportunity to pull an integrator in and really kind of help facilitate, because it was great. As you go to pull two organizations together, one of the things you do is build an accountability chart,
Right.
An org chart for those that are not familiar with EOS. And so we quote unquote, fired everybody in the company and then rebuilt the structure first, got the right structure of how we wanted to kind of organize the company. And then we hired people into those seats.
Right.
And it worked out great for us.
And you hadn't been using EOS before.
I would say we had dabbled in it. We had played around for years in like the mastering the Rockefeller habits. So we were used to trying to use some of those systems, but that was the first time that we really made the investment, hired an implementer, and really just went kind of all in using that system.
But all of you got together, this new org, and did it together.
Yeah.
What a way to do it.
We did.
What a way to do it. Yeah, because they said they waited too long. Brian and Rob waited too long to do that.
And we did it in Phoenix, which the weather was fantastic.
Was it during the winter?
The weather was fantastic. You just don't go there in the summer, right?
Right.
The weather was great. But yeah, I have really great fond memories of kind of just organizing and going through that process. That was great.
I spoke to somebody earlier today. Their advice to MSPs are three. One is to join a peer group. 2 is to get some kind of business operating system. And 3 is to hire a coach. Thoughts?
I can speak to 2 of those. I've been in a peer group. I joined HTG, now Evolve, back in 2010. So I'm a big believer in peer group organizations. I've also been a member of entrepreneur organizations.
Right,
So EO, that's right.
Yeah.
Since 2018. So I'm a big believer in kind of peer group organization. In fact, I'm going to be president of the EO Atlanta chapter.
Wow.
Starting not this July, but the next July.
Wow.
So I've got that coming up as well. And so peer groups, 100% on board. I think it's great.
Business
I
operations.
can speak to, a system, whether it's scaling up or what, because we dabbled in that a little bit, but we are 100% bought in, from the, executive leadership team down to our service desk team. Everybody is bought in on our EOS process.
Wow.
And we've been using that now literally since we went through that merger, 2015, 2016. So it's been almost 9 or 10 years that we've been kind of building out our EOS muscle, if you will. And then for the coach aspect, we haven't gone down that path yet. I know a lot of people that have, and I think, they speak very highly. If you get the right coach and they're able to kind of ask you and kind of probe you the right kind of questions and get you thinking, what you need to be thinking on and focused on what you need to be focused on, I can see huge benefits in that as well.
So I think the first time we met, and it was at Chartech.
Oh, was it really?
And I remember you're the one who
Oh,
introduced
but
me
easy,
to
easy. I don't know where this is going.
to the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Oh, yes.
This is 15 years ago, Shawn. You bought, I
Yeah.
don't know, 100 of them or something. You brought them in and said, try this, Joe, because I said I never had it.
That's right.
And it
I
was
do remember that.
unbelievable.
That is, well, being
know where
from
this is
Atlanta,
Yeah.
and meeting a Yankee that had never had Chick-fil-A,
Unheard of.
I remember what I remember distinctly of that was, you're telling me you eat fried chicken for breakfast?
I did say that. Yeah. It sounds great now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we should go get some Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, those are great days. And they're rebuilding the team over there. They're doing a great job. I haven't been back. I was back there last year, I think. But
Yeah, I haven't been back in a long time, and then we got lucky where Shane Swanson, who was kind of their operations person, was
yes.
Personally needed to make a
Yes.
change and kind of move, and so we had a great opportunity, and so he's been with us for, I think it's like 6 years now,
Unbelievable.
kind of running operations for us, and he's our chief services officer now, and it's got a great team underneath him, and is doing a great job. Yeah.
So when I talk to MSP, Shawn, the three things that keep them up at night, and you've been on the podcast before, we might have gone over this, but
Yeah.
still the case. Security.
Yeah.
They're worried about their clients getting hacked. Human capital. How am I going to replace these technicians, these great technicians? If they leave, how am I going to get new ones?
Right.
And then the third is just growth. PE has put so much money in, organic growth. A lot of these are tech-led, these MSPs. How are they going to do that? Do those keep you up at night? How do those ring true?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think about kind of organic growth, that's the blood of the business,
Yeah.
right? You've got to be able to successfully add new customers and grow an organization. That definitely has been a path that we've been on, the last couple of years. In fact, I mean, I know Ted Holsey.
Yes.
And so we saw him. He's here with us this week. But Ted, ran large sales teams for eFolder and was at SonicWall and was in the industry and has been in and around this HTG Evolve community for a long time. And he worked with us as kind of a kind of sales and marketing consultant for about a year. And then, I guess persuaded him, bribed him, whatever. But we got him to join our organization 2 years ago as our chief revenue officer. And so we're investing pretty heavily in our sales and marketing efforts right now to really build a non-owner led sales engine.
Your brand deserves to be in front of the right audience decision makers, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are ready to take action. That's exactly who listens to the Joey Pinz podcast. Thousands of engaged business leaders and consumers tune in every week. Millions of views and listens across YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Sponsors see real impact, higher engagement, brand trust, and conversations. We offer strategic partnerships tailored to your goals, including targeted ad placements, branded guest appearances, multi-episode and event sponsorships. Make your brand part of the conversation. Let's grow together. Visit joeypins.com/sponsor to explore sponsorship opportunities or email us at sales@joeypins.com. The Joey Pinz podcast, where brands and thought leaders connect.
Yeah, because owner-led sales is not sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, we're there, and I'm still involved in sales. I'm still there to help, and so I'm still a part of that process. But the marketing engine behind what we're doing and the events that we're doing, we're really gaining some traction and doing some really cool things around that. That's definitely been a big kind of investment and focus of ours. So I'm with you. Organic growth, sales, definitely a thing that I think that MSPs, keeps them up at night.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity, that's always going to be, something that people are always worried about. I mean, we know that we're under attack constantly. This is another thing that I think I got. I'll call it dumb luck or whatever. Sometimes luck just being in the right place, right time, right opportunity, or whatever. But we ended up getting a client in, I think it was around 2013, think it was 2013, that was publicly traded at the time, multi-billion-dollar organization. And so they really started pushing us down a security and compliance kind of path. And, this year marked our 10th year that we had gone through a SOC 2 Type 2 audit. So we've been, investing in kind of, process and getting audited every year and really building that kind of security muscle. Because when we think about security, and I think about process and procedures and the controls that we put in place, security for us is not we deployed an antivirus and we have a firewall and we do awareness training. Those are just tools. When we think about security, we think about change management and how do we, what is our policy around this? What is our process? And can we prove that we're doing the things that we're supposed to do? And that's what we get audited on. So dumb luck or being at the right place or just being kind of pushed down that path early, I feel like we've been on this kind of cybersecurity kind of journey, for 10 years now, which I think we were a little ahead of the curve in a lot of cases. I feel like MSPs lately, over the last, call it 4 or 5 years, have really started kind of embracing, cybersecurity, and they see the additional revenue that they can generate by rolling out some of these tools. I would just encourage them to think more about, it's not about the tool, it's about policies and procedures and making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it and how you're supposed to do it.
Very much so. And so you have a new venture with Hyperautomation.
Yeah, so that was the other thing, right? We all know how difficult it is to find great talent and to keep people. And our highest cost of goods is in our labor.
Sure is.
So how do we improve our efficiency, improve our reliability, and generate an ROI from that? And so I think about 3 years ago, we were one of the first people to get involved with Roost. And 3 years ago, we started investigating and playing and digging into how can we leverage this automation tool to go build two different types. I view automations as two different things. So one is like task-driven kind of automations or helper automations that we can do that provide information into a ticket or bring information to one of our technicians so they don't have to go get it. It'll bring it to it and kind of help them, navigate, or it'll do small tasks. So task-based automations, and then automations that are more like workflow, really replacement of a work that a human has to do, as an example. So an example that, I like to kind of use that I think this resonates with a lot of people, especially whenever you have a project team that works on projects and a service desk team that just does service desk, and they don't really interact very often. Like one of the simplest things that we did was in our internal notes now on our ticket is a list of all of the client's open projects. So whenever a ticket gets created, our automation goes and grabs the list of their open projects, dumps it in there. Because how often do your service desk get a ticket, they go start working it, and come to find out that work that they just did under the flat rate agreement really should be billable over here under this project because it was really part of the project. And so that's just like a little simple thing that we did that grabs all the open projects, puts it in there so our service techs or service engineers can easily see what's in there and what's not. Another kind of human kind of replacement that we do is we've kind of automated all of our Sophos firewall upgrades and updates. So on a quarterly basis, we have tickets to go, update firmware or update the license or the software on our firewalls. And that used to be, you'd go log into the backup device and back it up and then fail over to the backup. And then you'd update the master, because we do, high availability firewalls in all of our environments. So you're really having to do both of them. That's now a fully automated process.
Wow.
And so Roost and our automation goes and upgrades and does all that firewall work for us. And now we just have an engineer that double checks it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So those are some cool things that
So you did this internally, and the idea is now sharing it with others.
Yeah. So we did it internally and have been, kind of going down this kind of automation path for about 3 years. And then last March, we, kind of saw an opportunity, saw a space, and went and created Raven Automation. And so Raven Automation really does professional services on the Roost platform. So our customers are other MSPs. And so we're now helping other MSPs leverage and drive ROI from the Roost platform. And we're doing some really cool, kind of projects over there that range from anything from like ticket triage stuff to, childing tickets automatically to procurement tracking. So we'll go out and grab the procurement tracking data out of a UPS system and dump it into their procurement module and ConnectWise. So you see, and that's just automated. And so you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Wow.
It's kind of an example.
And so Roost doesn't have their own consulting arm.
Not really. They don't really do. They'll do some help with you, and they've got the Rock that'll do a little, lightweight stuff, but no real like professional service kind of arm. They want to be in the, I don't want to speak for them, but they really want to be in the software platform and build great software for MSPs to use. And so we had great expertise, I think, in that because we've been doing it for a while. And, that team now, like I said, we started it in March at 0 revenue, and I've got 10 full-time team members over there, and then, some part-time people that are helping with some back office and recruiting and some stuff like that now.
And it's separate from the MSP.
Yep, completely separate company, completely separate. I don't know if you know Jared Brantley or not. If not, I'll introduce you. He's on his way to Houston right now. In fact, he texted me earlier. I think he's in an Uber on the way here. So great guy, but he is the one that's really kind of driving and running that organization and is really the chief automation officer over at Raven. And so he's the guru. So,
and the perfect MSP candidate for that is?
Yeah, what we typically find is a little bit larger MSP. So, think into that 3 million plus kind of range is what we typically see that has enough capacity and extra capital to invest, because it is an investment. Automation is not a one and done thing. It is a journey. And so you really need to be committed to be able to do and invest, I would say at least 6 months. So, 6 months to really start driving some ROI out of it. You can get some small wins, like some of the examples that I was, just kind of describing. You can get some small wins that'll be those task-oriented things that will make your team more efficient. But I think really to drive like some of the real ROI, it just takes a little time to do. Like some of the, I don't know if you like examples, but here's another cool example. This was like one of the first ones that our team built. We started looking at all of the tickets. Where was our highest like ticket count that, it didn't really take a lot of time, but we got a lot of them. And, for us, that was dark web alerts that we would get from ID Agent. And so, especially whenever we onboarded a new organization, if they had 100 employees, the first time you got that dump, you might get 250 tickets created because of all of the historical kind of compromised data that was out there. We're like, all right, this is ridiculous, because while it doesn't take a lot of time, it takes a couple of minutes for an engineer to look it up. And is this user user even still an employee at this company or not? If they're not, then we probably just notify somebody and close it out because the account is not there anyway. But if they are, what do we do kind of deal? And so our team wrote an automation that grabs it, parses the ticket, looks up the user in 365. If they are a licensed user, then it processes it one way and sends them an email. If they're not, an active user in 365, the workflow does something completely
Creates
different.
a report or something,
and closes it out.
Yeah.
And we really have just eliminated
Wow.
all of that ticket noise. That one automation saves our service desk about $30,000 a year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So do you sell I'll call them templates or routines. Do you sell them specifically?
Yeah. We've got a number of what I'll call kind of like building blocks.
I see.
And so we're able to kind of come in with some of the integration and these building blocks, and implement a lot of this into an environment. So a lot of the headache that we kind of went through to kind of figure out how to make some of this work, and just to kind of get your mindset around automation. Like, I think we still, honestly, I think we still struggle internally as an organization to think automation first. And we've been doing this for 3 years. But that's definitely like the mentality and the culture that we're really trying to get into is let's never just fix it. How do we automate it? How do we automate it and we never do it again? Yeah.
Shawn, has there been anything in the last month or so that you changed your mind on?
Oh, that's a good question. Anything that I've changed my mind on? Jumping back to the MSP side, I think one of the things that we're kind of focused on is we're looking at some of our packaging and pricing and bundling more of that. And so that's definitely a little bit of a change.
How'd you get there?
I felt like we kept having, for the longest time, we did all flat rate deals, but in some of our security kind of offerings, we did very much almost like an a la carte kind of approach that, depending on size, complexity, or compliance requirements for organizations, it was a pick or choose. We kind of put in the tools that we thought was, the best for that specific client. Over time, I think, it's great flexibility, but it also provides a lot of kind of operational and kind of challenges for the team. So we're looking at kind of consolidating some of that stuff, simplifying some of that, and just making, just some, standard kind of grouped packages that just make it, an easier sell. You make one sell instead of making 4 sales. So that's a new thing. That's something that has kind of changed.
Looking for a powerful way to reach business leaders and engage consumers? The Joey Pinz podcast connects brands like yours with an audience that listens, engages, and takes action. High impact exposure with a fast growing loyal audience. Millions of views and listens across major platforms. Sponsors see increased brand awareness, trust, and conversations. We make sponsorships simple and effective with custom ad placements that fit your brand, deep audience engagement through authentic conversations, long-term exposure across podcast platforms and social media. Don't miss the opportunity to connect with your ideal customers. Visit joeypinz.com/sponsor to secure your sponsorship today. Or you can email us at sales@joeypinz.com. The Joey Pinz podcast, where conversations drive results.
So my story, Shawn, and I think I've asked you this before, but I lost a bunch of weight.
I know you look fantastic.
Oh yeah, sure. And, and I learned one day to take a compliment. I'm working on it, but I was up at 340 pounds, and I lost 130 pounds, and I kept it off. People ask me how. I always say discipline.
Yeah.
So how does discipline play a role in your life, Shawn Brown?
Oh, discipline for me. I think it's about kind of setting goals and having routine and rhythm.
Routine and rhythm.
Yeah.
Sounds like hyperautomation.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm thinking more like personally,
right?
Like, so if I can get into if I know, like, I haven't lost 140 pounds. I've lost more like 15 pounds.
Feels great though, doesn't it?
But yeah, but for me, it was about setting, the goal. Like, hey, this is my goal. This is what I'm after. In order to get there, I need to do I need to eat this way. I need to, exercise this way. I need to do a couple of these things. And so how do I get myself into a kind of a routine and rhythm of these good things that I need to be doing? And then once I kind of got into a little bit of that rhythm, it's easier to stay into it. I still struggle when, like, I kind of tweaked my back a couple weeks ago, and that just kind of threw everything out of my rhythm and routine. And so and then traveling to Houston like this kind of throws you out of the rhythm and routine. And so I'm definitely working my way back into, but I think it's easier because I have kind of a proven kind of process and system that I know will get me the results. I just got to execute.
Yeah,
I will tell you the other cool thing that my wife and I got this past fall was we bought a sauna for the house.
Whoa.
That has been awesome.
Has it?
Yes.
So good for you.
Oh, yeah. So I have not gone the cold plunge path yet. That may be next, but the thought of going and jumping into a really cold tub, I don't know.
Yes.
We'll see. We're going to work our way up to that.
Yeah.
But the sauna is awesome.
That's nice. That's really, really cool. I always love talking to you, my friend, and I appreciate your time today. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Yeah, I am on LinkedIn. You can easily find me there. That's probably the easiest and best way to find me. It's just, Shawn Brown. And then Snaptech IT is our MSP, and then Raven Automation is our automation company.
And Shawn is spelled SHAWN.
That's right.
Shawn Brown, Raven Automation, of course, Snaptech, MSP. Thank you so much, my friend.
No, man, thank you for having me. This was
forward to playing
always
golf
a great time to hang out
time.
and spend some time with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.